We are here with David Capella,
Hello.
a young artist and designer. I met David at the Fine Arts Department at FIT.
Yes.
We are about to conduct an interview inspired by a 1977 Q&A given to Mr. Andy Warhol by Glenn O'Brien, Interview Magazine editor. Why Andy Warhol? I have no idea. We are very...
I love Andy.
He's a very big fan. I'm not a very big fan. I kind of hate him.
Andy, I like his look, and I appreciate everything he's done to be where the art world is today, I feel like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just admiring the artwork that's here above the couch.
Oh.
It's great.
Awesome. Okay, so I guess we should start.
I'm just really, happy to be here right now.
Aw. Likewise. Alright, so I guess we should start off with one of the more basic questions. What was your first artwork?
My first piece of artwork was actually a drawing of a cat from one of those little books that you get. And it was shading and basic things that I did, and I knocked it out 1, 2, 3. And my mom was like, "Oh my god, this is amazing!" And I stuck with art ever since. It's kind of stuck with me though.
How old were you? You were
5.
5 years old.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been. Were you appreciated in grade school and art? Did they like you? Did you like the art department in school?
No, I always felt confined. But it's got me to where I've been today.
That's very true. Very true. Did any of the teachers tell you you had a natural talent?
I've always been supported growing up through my art. I've always been told through my parents and friends, David, don't worry about those, whoever I was having a problem with at the time or something. They're like, focus on your art because your art will always be there. And I think that's good advice for any artist.
Yeah, for sure. So how exactly did you become an artist and decide to move? How did you decide to become an artist and move to New York City? Did that start at a young age, or did it progress as you...
I've always been involved in going to New York City, and that's always inspired me through stones on the ground, looking at the ground, at the sidewalks, being really observant, looking up at the way that, let's say, a traffic light looks. I see things different because I'm a creative mind. It's rare.
What's your ambition to be an artist or designer? I mean...
My ambition when I wake up in the morning is... I have an emotional ambition. And to me it's an outlet, my paintings. But forget all that. Why I paint is because getting an imagery out there of what's important to me and sharing it with the world. And I've been involved with many auctions and donating money to raise schools in Chile and raising awareness, and I think it's always good to stay involved and to be active in the art community. I think that's really what makes up an artist, is our experiences.
What was the first artist to influence you, would you say?
The first artist?
Yeah. To have an impact on you or influence
I'm kind of thrown back.
You in some way. Yeah, it's a big question.
It would have to be Al Plastino. He invented Superman. He was drawing them. We would have great talks about how, at his time, being a fine artist, being an illustrator is the worst thing ever. And I kind of understood that going to art school and painting and doing sculpture and all that. And I'm and then I tried cartooning recently. I illustrated a book and I hooked up with the writer. It's really good to find someone who's a collaborator, and we did a book on bullying, on cyberbullying, and I created this cute little fuzzy guy with feet, arms, and a big eyes and a little nose for raising awareness and bullying. I think art should always be related to not being a selfish artist and doing something that you always like, who doesn't love doing something that you like. And I feel that's why I kind of stepped into the design world a little bit, to do something that will get things out there. But my passion always is to have, I wish I could show at a Chelsea art gallery.
Yeah.
That's my dream.
That's a good ambition right there. What artists would you say influence you now, currently?
Definitely the greats, of course. Those are like the reason why I like wake up in the morning.
Mhm.
But I love Julia Jaquette. I think her work is great.
Yeah, definitely. Do you
I'm a
Do
little
you-
like nervous. I don't know why.
You're doing great. Do you think there are many great undiscovered artists right now that
Yes.
you know?
There's a lot of undiscovered artists that I do know, friends of mine that should be discovered.
Like yourself?
And I feel like it's hard. Everything's hard that we do, but it's amazing. It's a talent that is just not that a lot of people have.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that it has to be shown to the world.
Mm-hmm. What would you say makes an artist interesting or an artist's work? And what would you say is like what separates an artist from their work / their persona? Is there a difference for you?
Yes. I mean, no. I mean, it depends, because I've witnessed people who look serious and studious and make great, like, colorful paintings.
Mm-hmm.
And every person's different. It's like hair color art.
Mm-hmm.
As silly as it sounds, like everyone has different hair color, everyone has different art. As long as it's very sincere and constantly changing and evolving and like always thinking what's next. And I feel like in my personal artwork, I've changed and grew from. I started doing art because a family member of mine passed away who was very close to me. It's so sad, but I got in touch with myself with this great artistic ability, and it's kind of changed from that expressive gel medium transfers on big canvases to like something that I got to today, which is just like a giant blue canvas, or like something that's very like simple, like kind of Rothko inspired with like just one brushstroke. To me is very hard to do because being an artist, you just want to keep painting.
Yeah.
And just showing high energy, bold color, and work that's very physical is what I strive for.
Do you think? This is a funny question because we saw the response that Andy Warhol gave earlier. But do you think the art world is dead?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here's my cigar. Yes, it's dead. No. The art world isn't dead. There's a lot of money in art, I feel like.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of like it's a little bit. Do you?
It's a prodigy.
Yeah. Who do you think is the world's greatest living artist?
The world's greatest living artist would have to be hands down. By artist, what do you mean, though? Photographer? Because I feel
any
like
medium, absolutely.
It's
Any
so
medium.
hard for me to pick right now.
Absolutely, any medium. I love that term artist just because it takes all the tags away.
It does. It takes all the tags away. You took the words out of my mouth. That's exactly what I was thinking. All the tags are gone, and I think of like a million things come to mind.
Mm-hmm. It's
My
a
head is
little
spinning
overwhelming.
right now.
It's a little overwhelming.
But my favorite artist would have to be Van Gogh
Okay.
because of his technique.
Mm-hmm.
I always look at the older artists for technique. The way he applies the paint is absolutely amazing, and I feel like having a good technique and combining that with abstraction and subject matter will make for like a beautiful, dynamic piece of art.
Oh yeah, wait, yeah, I totally got carried away. The greatest living artist. Would you feel?
I love Stephanie DeManuel's work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think? What do you think about movements in art today? Do you think it's existent? Do you think there's too many artists today? Is there such thing as too many artists?
Yes, there's way too many artists. Too many artists in the world today. But that doesn't mean it's a bad thing. I think it's great that people can showcase their talents and really show something expressive. And everyone has a different story, so everyone's experiences are going to be shown through their art. And to me, it's like their memory on paper.
Yeah.
I like the psychology behind it.
What would you say? What would you say is your favorite movement?
Dada movement. I love the Duchamp, the urinal upside down.
Mm-hmm.
That it was like really amazing, and it raised the bar in art, and it set another stage for like another movement. And it's interesting how that's how it goes.
What would you think makes a good artist?
Drawing a blank.
That's another very big question. It's very broad.
I have no idea. A good artist would be someone who is changing their work and not being too influenced. I feel like being influenced or really influenced by your surroundings isn't good, because you have to show your vision, your type of vision.
Once you've found a process for your artwork, where would you say the inspiration comes from?
Could you say that question again?
Sorry. Once you found a process, where does the inspiration come from?
Let's keep the interview PG, guys.
The process.
Okay.
I love it.
How about we cut that part out? Mom comes in and she's just like, "Oh, you guys look so professional."
Can I put it on pause for a second?
We're gonna cut this part out. Okay. All right.
Is it playing?
Yeah. Okay. We're gonna cut. Okay. And we're back after a small break / interruption.
Yes.
We were actually just about to
That's
wrap it up. I was asking you, once you found the process with your work, like a specific process, where does the inspiration come from?
The inspiration is nature.
Mm-hmm.
Driftwood. Looking down on the city shrine, the city sidewalks for composition.
Mm-hmm.
So taking something from nature and deriving it in an interesting composition and filling it in with color.
Awesome. And would you say? I mean, how? Can you describe the process that you had with your wooden trunk sculpture that I saw on your website? It was I absolutely loved it.
Oh, thank you. That's so. I feel like I really appreciate that. The inspiration was just made up from my head. I just sketched up a little curving, like elegant, floating piece of metal, and I was like, I need like a wood base, and I found this wood base. I like finding found objects, which is great. I found the metal and the wood, and then I just went with it.
Awesome. Yeah, I absolutely love that one. And I guess we should close with, ultimately, what is your philosophy on art in general, and where do you see yourself in 10 years?
The philosophy on art and design would have to be being inspired from the greats, having movement in a painting. To me, that's really important. Having big, like I love working really big, and having a large scale. I see myself in 10 years being hopefully a painter still. It's what I do. I'll always be a painter. And hopefully having some designs on the side, designing for scarves and pillows, home decor accents, and I hope to get into a Chelsea art gallery someday.
All right. That is our cue.
I'm in demand. Thank you.
Thank you, David.